and welcome back to All About Community. Again, my name is Robert L. Harris. I am your host. And when we went to break, I was speaking with Bill Patterson. Bill Patterson is a legend right here in the Bay Area. He has done so much for young men in particular. One special person, of course, is Bill Russell, whom he mentored, sent him off to San Francisco State, and ultimately became the first black coach of the NBA and was legendary in the NBA as a player. Bill, what do you say to young people who want to be like Bill Patterson? Anything, Bill Patterson, be like Bill Russell. Anything that you'd like to say?
You have to have a heart for your fellow students, your friends, those you come in contact with, and you have to wish for them something better than they are in or find themselves in now.
And Bill Russell recently passed, but I recall reading where he stated that he would go anywhere at any time where Bill Patterson is to be honored, and he wanted to be there. That says a lot about what Bill Russell thought of Bill Patterson. Kurt Flood, I understand you also mentored him.
Yes, Kurt was a very inquisitive kid who had a great talent in sports and a mind that you could not believe. He's very inquisitive, asked a lot of questions, always on the go, and always ahead of himself.
And Kurt Flood became one of baseball's greatest legends. Is that right?
Yes, he was. He has all the stats to be in the Hall of Fame. Of course, he was blackballed by the coaches because he looked at the other side of baseball. I often taught my young men that it's not a game, it's a business, and you need to understand that. And he looked into the business
and he
side.
was the one that sued the baseball league. Is that correct?
He went all the way to the Supreme Court, although he was in the wrong venue for the decision. But he pursued it legally because he said he was not a piece of meat to be hung on a hook and traded back and forth, that he was a person. And that's what we have when we talk about the rights of citizens today.
Yeah, so
he did that in terms of the...
And he paid a price for that.
Encampment, yes, he did.
Frank Robinson, also a legendary baseball player out of and manager out of McClymonds High School right here in Oakland. Influenced by you, anything you'd like to say about Frank Robinson?
Again, Frank had that great understanding. He had ability. If you talked about pure ability in baseball, Frank would be the machine. He could drive the ball far. I once compared his work on batting to that of Willie Stargell, who I also had contact with when he was in high school, growing up in East Oakland, along with Joe Morgan.
Willie Stargell was also one of your mentees.
Yes. Willie was my wife's cousin. His mother brought him to me at Brookfield. You see, I worked on the playground in the infirmary as a part-timer with Frank and all the ones you mentioned, Vader. All of them came through that system in West Oakland.
And one thing they all had in common was that Bill Patterson took the time to say something to them that motivated them.
Yes. Yes.
That inspired them to be what they became. And Joe Morgan was one of those.
Yes. If you look into the eyes of a child, you can see the future of where that child comes from. And it's an old African American saying. I had a chance to glance into them and see the reflection of what they were and say to them, you can do it, you can go to the top, and don't let anybody stand in your way or tell you you can't.
Don't let anybody stand in your way. Look into the eyes of the child, and you can see that that person can be whatever he or she wants to be. Bill, we're going to have to, unfortunately, go to break, but you know how that is.
And they do.
Don't touch that remote. We will be right back with All About Community. Again, my name is Robert L. Harris. I am your host, and my guest is the legendary Bill Patterson.